Emotional intelligence, the skill that pays more than your degree. There's one skill that consistently separates professionals who keep getting promoted from those who stay in the same position year after year. It's not technical expertise, it's not your university degree, it's not your IQ, and it's not the number of certifications on your resume. It's emotional intelligence. Research has repeatedly shown that emotional intelligence is one of the strongest predictors of long-term career success. It affects how you communicate, how you lead, how you handle pressure, how you resolve conflict, and ultimately, how much value other people believe you bring to an organization. The good news is that emotional intelligence isn't something you're born with. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be developed. Today, I'll walk you through the 4 core areas of emotional intelligence and give you practical ways to improve each one. Let's begin. The first area is self-awareness. Everything starts here, because if you don't recognize what you're feeling, your emotions will quietly make decisions for you. Think about the last time you reacted too quickly in a meeting. Maybe you interrupted someone. Maybe you became defensive. Maybe you sent an email you later regretted. In most cases, the problem wasn't the emotion itself. The problem was that you didn't notice it until after it influenced your behavior. Emotionally intelligent people build the habit of checking in with themselves throughout the day. Instead of simply saying, "I'm stressed," they become more specific. Am I frustrated? Disappointed? Anxious? Overwhelmed? Excited? Naming an emotion might sound simple, but neuroscience shows that identifying emotions reduces their intensity. When you can name what you're feeling, you become much more capable of managing it. Another important part of self-awareness is understanding how your emotional state affects your judgment. Stress makes you more cautious. Excitement makes you overly optimistic. Frustration makes neutral feedback feel like criticism. The more aware you become of these patterns, the better your decisions become. A simple exercise is to pause 3 times during your workday. Ask yourself one question. What am I feeling right now? Don't judge the answer. Just notice it. Within a couple of weeks, you'll start recognizing emotional patterns you never realized existed. The second area is self-regulation. Self-awareness tells you what you're feeling. Self-regulation determines what you do next. Many people believe emotional intelligence means hiding your emotions. It doesn't. Suppressing emotions usually makes them stronger. Instead, emotional intelligence is about creating space between the emotion and the response. Neuroscience tells us that emotional reactions happen incredibly fast. Long before the logical part of your brain has fully processed the situation. That's why people say things they regret, or make decisions they later wish they could take back. One practical strategy is the 90-second rule. When a strong emotion appears, don't immediately react. Take a breath. Stay silent if you can. Give yourself 90 seconds before responding. That short pause allows your thinking brain to catch up with your emotional brain. Then ask yourself, what response will move this situation forward? Not what response feels good right now. That single question changes everything. Professionals with high emotional intelligence don't react faster. They respond better. The third area is social awareness. This is your ability to understand what other people are feeling, not just from their words, but from their tone, their body language, their pace, and even what they choose not to say. Imagine someone says, "I'm fine with the proposal," but they hesitate. Avoid eye contact and speak much more quietly than usual. Most people hear agreement. Emotionally intelligent people notice uncertainty. They recognize that every conversation has two levels: the words and the emotions underneath the words. Learning to notice those emotional signals dramatically improves communication. People feel understood. Misunderstandings decrease. And trust grows much faster. One way to practice this is to spend more time listening than speaking. Instead of planning your next response while someone else is talking, focus entirely on understanding them. When they finish, summarize what you heard before sharing your opinion. You might say, "It sounds like you're concerned about the timeline," or "It seems like you're frustrated because expectations weren't clear." Often, people simply want to know they've been understood. The fourth area is relationship management. This is where emotional intelligence becomes leadership. Once you understand your own emotions and recognize the emotions of others, you can influence conversations in positive ways. Relationship management includes giving constructive feedback, resolving disagreements, building trust, managing conflict, and creating environments where people feel respected. One of the simplest habits is reflective listening. Instead of immediately offering advice, confirm what the other person is experiencing. For example, it sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed because several deadlines arrived at once. That one sentence changes the conversation. People become less defensive because they feel heard. Only after you've established understanding should you begin discussing solutions. Strong relationships aren't built by having all the answers. They're built by helping people feel understood. Let's review the framework. First, self-awareness. Recognize your emotions before they influence your behavior. Name them. Observe them. Understand how they affect your thinking. Second, self-regulation. Pause before reacting. Use the 90-second rule. Respond intentionally instead of emotionally. Third, social awareness. Listen beyond the words. Notice tone, body language, hesitation, and emotional signals. Finally, relationship management. Use empathy to build trust. Practice reflective listening. Solve problems without damaging relationships. Here's something important to remember. Emotional intelligence isn't about being emotional. It's about becoming emotionally skilled. The professionals who rise into leadership aren't always the smartest people in the room. They're often the people others trust the most. The ones who stay calm under pressure. The ones who communicate clearly during conflict. The ones who make others feel heard. And those are skills that can be practiced every single day. Every conversation is an opportunity to improve. Every difficult meeting is training. Every disagreement is a chance to strengthen your emotional intelligence. Over time, those small improvements compound. You become a better communicator, a stronger leader, a more trusted colleague, and ultimately, a more valuable professional. If you found this video valuable, subscribe for more psychology, leadership, communication, and workplace frameworks designed to help you think more clearly, lead more effectively, and build a career that keeps growing.